Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Need a resolution to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Evelyn, seconded by Doug. Any discussion or changes?
No, I have
Favor?
to abstain, I wasn't here.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, I'll turn this over to Wayne now. Today's meeting is going to be a little bit different than normal. We're going to hold a public hearing during this meeting. So, Wayne?
All right. As you see on the agenda, there's a public hearing required for our Small Cities Grant Award. I will read the notice. Notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given pursuant to Resolution 436 of 2014. The public hearings will be held by the Warren County Planning Department in the Warren County Supervisors Committee Meeting Room at the Warren County Municipal Center, 1340 State Route 9, Lake George, New York, 12845, on November 26th at 11:15 a.m. to 1. Solicit public comment regarding the uses of CDBG Small Cities Funds for the identified community development activity in Warren County's funding award for 2012 concerning the new Warrensburg Health Center. And 2, enhance public accountability in the use of federal block grant funds. And 3, obtain views of citizens concerning other unmet community development and housing needs in Warren County. The procedure to be followed will be: A, provide a summary explanation of the Community Development Block Grant Program. B, review eligible activities and the project activities selected by Warren County in their request for financial assistance from New York State Consolidated Funding Application Process for 2012. And C, review citizen comments and recommendations. Hearing will be conducted by the Planning Director and held concurrent with the Economic Growth and Community Development Committee of the Board of Supervisors. Questions concerning the hearing can be directed to the County Planning Director at 518-761-6410. Written comments will be received by the County Planning Director, Planning Department, 1340 State Route 9, Lake George, New York, 12845 until 5 p.m. on Tuesday, November 25th, 2014. The hearing will include information on the actions to minimize the displacement of persons from their homes and neighborhoods as a result of the grant activity undertaken by Warren County and the town of Warrensburg. Citizens are encouraged to attend and participate. At the aforesaid time, all persons interested in the matter of the activity completed with federal community block grant funds will be heard concerning the same, dated November 17th, 2014. Wayne E. Lamoth, Director, Warren County Planning and Community Development Department. Okay, having said that, the county applied for and received funding in 2012 to assist with the development, the construction of the new Warrensburg Health Center. We had submitted the application as an economic development activity, and the state of New York converted it over to a public facilities application, which has a whole host of other implications. The county received $400,000, of which $350,000 has been forwarded to the Hudson Headwaters Health Network to offset construction costs. Trip Shannon is here from Hudson Headwaters, and I would invite him to make any comments that he chooses.
Well, first of all, thank you. As Wayne mentioned, Trip Shannon, Hudson Headwaters. A little bit of an update. The project is on schedule. We should be taking ownership of the facility in middle to late February, and we'll likely have it actually open in late March to April time range. In between, we have things to do ourselves, move equipment. It's mostly going to be new equipment going in, but there's imaging equipment that has to be moved over and tested by physicists and everything that goes with that. It's a fair amount to be done in that time frame. After which, the current facility will be demolished, as according to a plan that includes asbestos removal, and then the two more aspects of the project. The current facility location will be a parking lot. It will be paved when the weather allows. And there's also a replacement of the community park that was in the front of the building, will now be in the back of the current facility. The grant here was part of a number of grants, $5 million federal grant, and also fundraising effort on Hudson Headwaters Park that raised over $2 million. So the total project, we ended up borrowing about $3 million. Total project's about $12 million too. For those who've driven by it recently, even I go, wow, that's a big building. We are looking forward, we don't think we'll have dramatic changes day one to get used to the building, but over time, we're in discussions with Warrensburg Hospital about some new services there. Our OBGYN service will expand almost day one. We have a relationship now with North Country OBGYN. They'll see patients at 90 South Street, Glens Falls, and the new women's facility at Warrensburg. And a series of other things we're considering. We'll clearly have a grand opening for it. Do want to thank the county and the folks planning, Wayne, and also Martin Arpadu, who helped quite a bit, but certainly Pat, your patience is mind-boggling when it comes to the housing and office community renewal. As I've mentioned to a number of folks, makes our federal grant process look like a piece of cake, at least paperwork-wise. We do know we have some commitment on data to provide, probably for at least a year or two, if we had to guess, based on the care mix of our patients, and we'll be able to do that. And either way, I just wanted to thank everybody. It's been a great project, and we're looking forward to a whole new health center for the North Country here by roughly April 1.
Thank you, Mr. Shannon. Does anyone else have any comments? I'll keep the public hearing open for a while then, and
Correct.
close it a little later in the meeting.
I don't want to forget to close it, though. As far as the other agenda items, agenda item number 2, you have in your packet a request, resolution request to adopt a MWBE and EEO plan. I just want to make sure everybody's aware this is for the purposes of that one specific grant only. I've talked to the county attorney about this. It's not, he's aware of that. I've talked to purchasing. They feel that they fully comply with MWBE requirements now. I talked with personnel office. They have no problem with the EEO requirements that are identified here. So it's really stuff that we're already doing. It's just we need to formally, as a contract provision, we need to formally recognize that and adopt this as a MWBE EEO plan.
Okay, your resolution?
Move it.
Evelyn, seconded by Fred. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item.
Okay, I briefly want to talk about item number 3. We just received, well, actually, we didn't receive, they had to take it back. New York State was in the office on Monday with the address point data for the new 911 system, the enhanced 911. They had the county boundary wrong, so they had to take it back and include Pilot Knob and a few other places in Warren County. But what we have, and I've included local law number 3, which set the fees for 911 addressing. Page 5 of that is the one that we have a concern about. I'm not actually looking for a resolution at this point in time. It's just more an awareness to the committee, and I'd like to have some time to talk with the county administrator, and but just to make the committee aware that we have about 1,600 parcels that have a residence on them at this point in time that do not have a 911 address. 911 addresses came about in the late 60s, early 70s, and the reason to generate a 911 address was either if you had a power pole placed or you had a mortgage. Well, there are a number of homes in the county that have not had a mortgage on them or had to have new power, and they don't have a 911 address. The new enhanced 911 system will require every parcel to have a 911 address. So the question becomes, how do we deal with these roughly 1,600 existing residences that predate the 911 system and haven't had a need for it? We charge $15 at this point in time for a 911 address. I do not have the staff time, quite honestly, to try to bill 1,600 new residents, or 1,600 new 911 numbers for residences that have been there forever. Warren County, according to New York State, is the only county that charges for 911 addressing. Town of Queensbury does their own, they do not charge. We also have about 3,000 parcels that are vacant that do not have 911 addresses. So it's an issue that will, paperwork-wise, overwhelm our office trying to generate 911 numbers if we have to do billings for all of these. And the county doesn't allow either cash or check, so you can't do it online. It requires a physical presence of someone to come in or send a check and follow up. We have a year or so to fix or come to a solution here, but, you know, we just don't have the staff time to do it, and I just wonder about fairness of going out and people have suddenly a bill show up, you know, for something they have no knowledge of, so.
I think what you're telling me though, Wayne, is that it's gonna cost more than $15 for us to do this.
It generally does. And just in, you know, receiving the request, the staff time is, if we don't have to go out, if we can do it off the aerial imagery or off existing mapping, it's a relatively simple process. Then we have to collect the payment, we have to bring that, or get it over to the treasurer's office, get it receipted, give the people a receipt, and give them their 911 address. And, it all takes time. You know, as I was saying to Supervisor Wood, in all honesty, this was all, it was in the time when we needed to generate revenues, and not that we don't now, but, we had 8 full-time people. We now have 2 full-time people and a bunch of part-time people. It's an impact on staffing that I don't know, we can't absorb it. I'm just being upfront. So, we need to resolve it somehow. As I said, it doesn't have to happen today. I want to bring it to the committee's awareness and have some time to talk with the county administrator and see if we can come up with some solution here, but certainly would involve everybody's input.
Okay.
So.
Any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, how much money do we generate, from charging $15 per 911?
Right now, we're doing about 150 to 200 addressing a year, so, you know, $2,000 to $3,000.
For the whole county?
Town of Queensbury does their own, and I don't know, I can't remember if the city of Glens Falls does it or not, but,
We're only getting $2,000.
2 to 3.
Okay, thanks.
Well, I can just imagine.
Do you charge in Queensbury to do this?
No, I couldn't imagine somebody coming up to me and saying to me that they're gonna change my address to a 911 standard. Okay, that's fine, I can live with that. And then they're gonna charge me. Just,
Yeah, I'm not for that.
yeah.
Well, currently, local law number 3, from 2011
Yeah.
is what we're working under. So we'd ask some consideration of, you know, the practicality of continuing, page 5 of that, the standard in there.
Okay.
So we have to change that, set a public hearing, see if any of the public wants to speak to it, and then have a vote on changing that.
Right. Okay. All right, thank you. Next item?
So we'll keep that as a pending item, continuing item, okay. The state, item number 4, the state, DEC has announced a funding round into the Smart Growth Program. It's due in January. At this point in time, I don't have a specific recommendation for a project, but I want to keep the option open to be able to submit under this, so I have a resolution request to authorize the planning department to submit an application.
Okay.
If there's any matching funds for a local community, they will have to provide that. Will not obligate the county to any matching funds, other than maybe some staff time for administration.
Are you looking for a resolution to
Yes.
approve the submittal?
Yes, there's a resolution request form in the packet.
Okay. Evelyn, you move it. Second by John. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next item on the agenda is a, resolution to authorize a contract with Shannon Rose Design out of Saratoga. We are in the process of developing the informational kiosks in the First Wilderness, and we are going to use the panels that are in the Lake George Visitor Center. They are 10 years old or so. We want to update those and add the appropriate logos. We have to give attribution to Department of State and the First Wilderness Program. Shannon Rose did the original design on those. They have some proprietary, ownership of the layout and design. I talked with Julie. She felt it was, a sole source because they already own, the rights to what's there. And it's a modest amount of $3,600 or so to modify those to meet our needs, and it's paid for out of a grant.
All right, Evelyn, second by John. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And the last piece of the packet that I wanted to show, just bring to the committee's attention is that, item number 5 on the agenda, information for discussion and review. I included 6 pages of our current grant programs under the local waterfront program that we are administering, and there's 31 separate projects identified there that we're in some ways, in some form of progress on those. So it's a varied mix of projects. And the total that we're working on right now is a little over $5 million worth of projects. We do have an application pending that we hope is part of the December 10th announcement for funding. We also have a small cities application for Countryside for $400,000 for sewer line connection to Countryside. Those we hope to receive information on the December 10th announcement.
Okay.
And that's really all I have at this point.
Okay. Any other business for planning?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just to point out to the committee members, I don't know if this stood out or not, but the new agenda format here that has been utilized by Wayne is the new agenda format that we just rolled out at the recent department head meeting that'll be utilized by all departments in the same exact style, so that all board members, when they come to any community meetings, will be able to know the exact order of all business. One of the attributes of this, if you'll notice, is that committee actions are specified with the rationale of why the action is being requested. This is also designed because we're going to get these out from here on in 2 days ahead of time to committee members, so you'll be able to know what's on there together with the attachments. And then we purposely outline the agenda so that the action items are taken care of immediately. The latter stuff on the agenda is things that could be put over typically to another meeting if you could not get to them. So this has been deliberately designed in this fashion with the attachments noted, because the attachments also will be sent to you in advance. We'll also be posting them on the county's webpage. This is Wayne is one of the first folks to actually roll this out following the committee meeting, and I just want to compliment him. That was fast work to put this together and start the new process.
Right.
And I think you did you close your public hearing?
No, I was just about to ask.
Okay, public hearing will be terminated. Any other business? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the economic development portion of the meeting.
Hey, good morning, and happy Thanksgiving. A couple of items that I wanted to mention. Last month I had indicated that we were undertaking the EPA job training program located at 773 on the corner of Luzerne and Sherman and Veterans Road area. That program is underway with 26 applicants. We had the chair go up opening day to, he was on his way to probably 10 meetings that day, but he did stop in to see the activity up there. That program will conclude in late December with a class of 26. We hope to have another class of between 25 and 30 beginning in January, February, and the final class will be in probably early summer. So it'll be a total of about 75 individuals that will be eligible for jobs. So we are working with One Stop Warren County as well as New York State Department of Labor. We have targeted a number of employers in this area to match up with the skills that we are providing certificates with. The estimated cost of the training per individual is that they will walk out graduating with about $7,500 worth of certificates. from the 40-hour HAZWOP program to the hazardous material to asbestos to risk assessment programs. Now, some employers will supplement that with their own training, also forklift operator. So we're providing them with a good, diverse area, but it is solidified with the interviews and inventory that we've done with area employers, and that we hope to match up. And if we're successful with all three rounds, we have a requirement of 80% placement of jobs. We have to keep track of the individuals for a period of 5 years, so talking about staff time. But if we're successful, we'll go for another round next year with EPA. This is a $200,000 grant. The beauty is that there is no local share involved in this program. So we have a number of the individuals are from Warren County. We have a couple from Washington County. I believe we have one or two from northern Saratoga County, and I think one from Essex County that is in the program, that come down daily to the location right off of exit 718. So it's the perfect location. So, yes.
I got a couple questions. How competitive is it to get into one of those classes? I mean, there's 25 to 30.
Oh, they're all, the individual has to be unemployed or underemployed. And
Okay.
we basically work very closely with the New York State Department of Labor. So we had a total, for our first round, we probably had a total of 40 people that applied, and out of the 40, for a variety of reasons, a couple got jobs in between the time that they applied. A couple of them because of health considerations, in other words, with the hazmat, some of these other programs, you have to be physically fit to be able, from a respiratory point of view. We work with Glens Falls Hospital to do the inspections. I might also add that there are 2 random drug and alcohol testing during the course of the program, and if they're found
During the course.
during the course of the program, and if they're found to be in violation, they are terminated on the spot.
Drug and alcohol.
Drug and alcohol.
So they can't even have a drink during training.
Well, it depends on, if there are evidence of difficulty with drinking, it becomes a
Okay,
problem. But that's
because I'm thinking, man, that's a tight,
We wanna get.
John, you're out. You're out, John.
All I wanna.
Thank God I'm in, I don't drink, but.
We gotta place 80% of these people,
Okay.
so that's
God
important,
almighty.
but, that's important.
Now, so if someone asks me, if they have a son or daughter that are unemployed,
Yeah,
they would
usually
go-
they would be in the system, and all the applications, and we ran ads in the, Glens Falls Post-Star and on radio.
so right now, for this next.
We haven't made the announcement. We won't do that until after the holidays because of all the advertisings and so forth. So right after the holidays, we will doing a second round,
Gotcha.
for the, individuals, and they can apply. They don't necessarily have to be in the system with the Department of Labor. They could be just unemployed, or utilized, and they are initially screened by the New York State Department of Labor Unemployment Group, and then, we have, a medical, after they are screened, they also go through a medical certificate, of review to make sure that there are none of those, issues, and we go forth with the program, so.
Okay, that's it. John, you have time to stop drinking to get in.
I think the drinking John is referring to is soft drinks, so.
He's a Coke guy.
Ed, that's an impressive program. I appreciate you putting that together. That's certainly a part of economic development that isn't glitzy, but, it's necessary. And also, if you haven't had an opportunity, if you get a chance to go up and look at that, 773 facility, that's also equally impressive, I think.
I just want to, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to mention, sheet labels, which the LDC has, provided some funding for, has, moved into their new, facility on Pines, Island. You may recall that they had looked seriously at, locating out of, Warren County. They are now settling in. There'll be a grand opening, probably in January. But Adam has done an excellent job with the sheet. There's 26 employees. They hope with a new piece of equipment they're purchasing to add another 4 to 5 people down at Pines Island. I just quickly want to brief the members on, as part of the EDC in collaboration with the Adirondack Gateway Council, 2 area projects that we're working on right now. One I'll start with is the agriculture and healthy communities. There will be a meeting coming up on Tuesday, December the 9th. Everybody will be getting a notice of this that will focus on agriculture for Warren County. We've had a couple of meetings in Washington County, and that will be courtesy of Mr. Garrity at the town of Warrensburg Town Hall, Tuesday, December the 9th from 10 till noon. You'll have a variety of local farmers, as well as we're reaching out to Mike Hill and others with the maple syrup production folks as well. Goat Cheese and Evelyn has indicated she'll be bringing over a good contingent of folks.
Right around everybody else.
And then we'll be meeting that afternoon in Fort Edward. We hope to develop a program that will highlight that there's actually more agricultural-related activities in Warren County than we might perceive to be. Just takes on a different form than seeing a heifer out there in the field. But they're there. Washington County is more in the traditional areas, although again, we were at the cider, speaking of drinking, we were at the cider place at Hicks Orchard, and again, that's a new type. And finally, we're gonna get involved with the farmer markets to try to activate and promote them. Pat Tedish is kind of the grandmother of the farmer markets. And our, program. Hey, grandmother of the farmer's market. Grandmother. So the farmer's market, and then also really the promotion. We have a number of fine products like the the cider in Granville, like the goat cheese, maple syrup, and where do you see these locally? You go into a Denny's or a Friendly's, and you get maple syrup that's in a little package, right?
Right.
So I think part of this overall plan is going to be try to devise a way to better market and promote and assist these on a more regional basis for that.
Yeah,
for that
my daughter just came back from San Francisco, and she buys the goat cheese from Thurman in San Francisco. Yeah.
In San Francisco.
San Francisco, and yet we can't get it here locally.
Right.
Yeah, well, Evelyn was saying down in Virginia that some of the fine restaurants down there selling, they advertise it, Thurman Cheese, and yeah, we, like, around here, no one.
Actually, for a while, I think it was Price Chopper was carrying it in their specialty cheese area, you could buy it
Oh,
there.
right.
I think Hannaford may also carry it, and of course we do our, you can actually go right there and buy it
Yeah,
directly
you buy
at the
it
farm.
at the farm.
Right.
And during any of our events in town, Maple Days and.
So we want to be able to highlight those activities in our area, and again, just another opportunity to collaborate with the groups that are out there and do some more promotion with our farmers market. There's a total of about 17 farmers markets in the region of Warren, Washington, and northern Saratoga County area. And Pat was helpful in going over in September to Salem, where we had some discussion with farmers in that particular area. The other area that's important that we're continuing to work on, is slow moving, but it's there, and that's the broadband and wireless. We have received initial approval from HUD to obtain a little bit additional funding so that we can go to phase 2. We had meetings in September in the town of Hadley and in the town of Chester, and our next goal is to assemble area officials. Number 2 is to assemble the public safety individuals and some business communities, again, to stress that cell coverage is not only important for regular communication, for public safety in the outlying areas of our county and in Washington County, but also for commerce, because with the smartphones, the businesses want to be able to use the smartphone to take credit cards, and they can't do that in certain sections of Granville,
Right.
Salem, Johnsburg, Chestertown area. So the second round would involve that phase, as well as meeting with the area providers from Verizon, PrimeLink, and so forth, to see what their plans are. And then finally is to submit an application to the state government, New York State, on the broadband connection, to USDA and the Federal Communication Commission sometime next year on those two programs. Again, December 9th is the, date there. Wayne had already alluded to the fact that, on December the 10th, there is an announcement, with where we stand with our funding. From a regional point of view, if our region does very well, then chances are many of our projects will be funded. If we, repeat like we did, we were number one last year, if we sink down to the latter 5, then projects won't get funded, or they'll be, reduced to such an amount that sometimes it doesn't make it viable, for a project. We have a diversity of projects. From a priority point of view in manufacturing, Finch Paper has put in a $20 million project modernization plan, so they will be seeking $2 to $3 million. That's a priority project, but again, if we're not on the top 4 or 5, we probably won't get funded for that project to the extent that we can. There were a number of projects along, the area of Lake George from a sanitary wastewater treatment plant, and Wayne had mentioned with Warrensburg, and we've got the couple of feasibility studies for the train, passenger rail, as well as a feasibility for the ski museum possibility in North Creek. Finally, I just want to show you part of our continued effort to highlight our area. We don't do this on a regular basis because it would bust our budgets to do this, but on Site Selection Magazine, this is a magazine that's reviewed by a lot of the real estate, national real estate firms and site selectors in terms of promoting what areas and are doing what. We did take out a ad in the recent edition that I'll pass around. I'm going to be emailing that out to you, but again, trying to highlight some of our major industries, from the forestry and paper products to medical device industries in the area. And my final comment would be is that you are, I believe we sent an email out to everybody, but I have another handout here for our holiday mixer on December the 11th at the Queensbury Hotel. We're asking for some donations for canned goods to go for the North Country Food Ministry in Warrensburg and North Creek this year, as well as Big Brothers Big Sisters. So.
Thanks, Ed. Any other business? Hearing none, ask for resolution to adjourn. Evelyn, second by John. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Starting to snow hard out there.
Mhm.